what we do is to get these bolts out right here, sometimes these bolts are a little bit tight, they're difficult to get out. If you just take a driver like this, put it on top of the bolt like that, and just tap it, most of the time you'll break them loose, and you can usually take them out. Now we're going to come underneath over here, and we're going to push that piston back in to the bore right there. We're just going to get in here with a screwdriver, and we're just going to grab a smaller one. We're just going to get in here on the brake pad itself, the inner brake pad, and we're just going to push it in just a little bit. And once you get it moving, then you can go back in with your pry bar, and we're just going to push that piston all the way back into the bore as far as it can go. Next thing we'll do is we're going to take off the caliper. We're just going to take the caliper for now. We're just going to put this up over here for now. And the slide pins, you can see, they slide nice and freely, both of them. Okay? Now, the bolts that we're going to take out. Okay. Now, these are the bolts up here that we need to take out. Now, you know that this one here comes out fairly easy. You just get on here with the ratchet, and you can take it right out. But that one in there is a little bit of a pain, and you know what to get it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot that off now with an air gun. Like I said, that's a 19 millimeter. And then we have to hold the nut or the bolt on the other side. Okay. Now what we want to do is, you don't want to damage the threads on that bolt right there. So what you would do is you would bring it in and just tap it, put the nut back on it, and just tap it to get it moving. And now you know it slides nice and freely, a little tight, but it still slides and it's not rusted. And then what we do is you come in here with a punch, and you would tap out this bolt the rest of the way. Now when you're prying it out like that, you'll notice that it gets to a point where it's hitting into the strut. And what I do is I'll just get underneath here with a pry bar, just pry it just a little bit, just to get that little bit of space in there, and then tap it out the rest of the way. Alright, and after we have that out, we just get in here with a 12 millimeter socket, and we just get on it with a ratchet, like that, and we take that out. Alright, now we're going to take this rotor off, and you can just tap the rotor, and it usually pops right off once you take your screws out. Okay, I want to point this out to you. See this little piece right here, this little rubber thing? You're going to need to reuse that rubber piece on the new rotor, and you just get in the back like this. You push it, and it comes right out. And now we'll put this in the junk pile. We're going to push this little piece that we took off back through here, like that. And now we're going to line these up and put the screws back inside here. I will point this out to you. I did clean off the face of the rotor already, just so you know, with some brake cleaner. We're going to reinstall our screws here. I usually just tap it in just a little bit tighter. Right? Okay, next thing we're going to do now, we need to reinstall this, but we need to change the brake pads, obviously, because you can see they're rusted into the mounting bracket. They don't move, so we need to tap these out, just like that. Same thing here, right? And then these two pieces here, we take this off. This is actually the caliper hardware. They get pretty rusty in here as well. So we are going to change these, the two of these. So I will, if you're working on it and you take these off and you see a significant amount of rust inside here, you're going to need to file that out of there just to get it out. This one is really not bad, so we don't have to do anything. And this is really not bad either, so we don't have to do anything here either. So let me grab the new clips and we'll put it back together. Okay, now we have our new clips. We just put a little bit of grease underneath where the clips are going to go, just like this. It'll keep it from rusting in the future a little bit. And then we take our new clips like this, and you just push them on, like that. And you push them in, and you make sure that they clip all the way in right here. The same thing on the other one here. You just take this, push it in, make sure your clip is in all the way. Like that. I'm just going to grab a screwdriver and push that down a little bit right there. Okay. I just push these pieces in right here, all the way in, right there, and right there to make sure they were in all the way. Now, every place that the brake pad is going to touch, you want to put a little bit of this synthetic brake grease, just like this. All right. Now, normally you'll see me put these brake pads in. I'm not going to do it in this case because I got to get in here with the hammer and I got to bang a little bit, and they're probably going to fall out. So for now, I'm just going to put this brake pad in, the inner, but you would actually put these two back in, just like that, okay? But we are going to leave these out for now. We'll come back to these in a minute. We're going to get this mounting bracket back up on here where it belongs. And now we're going to catch both of the bolts in the back. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing back here. Okay. Now we have that top one caught, but we didn't tighten it up all the way. And now we're going to move this bracket back and forth just so it slides the bolt in there, and then we'll tighten it up all the way by hand. Now there is torque specs to tighten these up. If you need them, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to look them up for you. Alright, we're going to snug these in now. Nice and tight. We'll tighten up the top one. Okay, and now our mounting bracket is tight. Alright, I'm going to go over to the bench now and I'm going to grind that off and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's what I do. I cut down the one side so it's actually, the shock absorber will go right past that now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to line everything back up. I am going to put a little bit of grease on everything to make it slide a little bit easier. Because it is going to be a very snug fit through here. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this back down in here. Get in here with our pry bar. And we're going to pry it down. And then once you got it in there a little bit like that, I just get on the top, tap it down. So we can get in here with our tool. Just till we get our liner tool lined up. Like that. Now that's pretty close. But as you're going to find out, it's still a pain in the rear end to get it in. So I usually just put a bolt through here just to make sure, and as you can see, it still doesn't line up properly. So I'm just going to tap it. Now we're not putting it in that way. We just put it in that way to make sure everything was lined up, and now we're going to take it back out. And now we'll take this bolt and we'll go into the back. Now we're going to get in there with a pry bar, and we're just going to tap the bolt through. It's a pain in the rear end. It is not easy. This is the hardest part of the whole job, actually. A bit of a tight squeeze through there. Okay. All right, let me show you what happened here. Let's see. Okay, and we got the bolt back through where it came out, and you can see the one side of it right over here. We have it shaved off a little bit so that we could pass by that shock. All right. Now we're going to tighten it up with the air gun, and we're going to continue with this job. But now you didn't have to lower the strut, the shock absorber bolt out, and have to support your lower control arm. Now I have gotten emails from people. Oh, you know what? We'll talk about that later. We're going to tighten that up. So hold it back with the wrench, and we'll tighten it up. Now there is torque specs on there. If you need them, you let me know, and I can give them to you. But now this is tight, and now we can put our brake pads in, and we can get this job back together. All right? Brake pad just goes in like this. Slide it in. Same thing on this side here, like that. All right, let's get you up here so you can see what I'm doing, maybe. go. All right, now, these are the slide pins right here. You want to take these out, and you want to lubricate these to make sure that they slide nice and freely. We're going to take off all of the old grease that's on there. And then we just put a little bit of grease on it. You don't want to go crazy with it, just a little bit. Push it in. Same thing here. Take off the grease. Put a little bit back on there, just like that. Now when you put this back in, you see that little lip right there? That rubber boot has to pop up into that lip right there, so you'll watch it go. See? Now it's in all the way. All right, next thing we're going to do now is we're going to put our caliper back on. But any place that the brake pad touches, you want to put a little bit of the synthetic brake grease. Every place that touches the brake pad, a little bit of grease just like that. And then we'll take this, put it over the top, slide it down, and that's it. Now, if you try to put this on and you can't get it over the top because your piston's not pushed back in, there is a tool that is made to push that piston back in. You know what, let me show you. Lots of different kinds, but this is the one here that you would actually show you. What you would do, let me grab the brake pads and I'll show you. You would take a brake pad, put it in here like this. Take the other brake pad, put it in here like this. And then you would take this tool here, and it would go in here like this, and then you would turn it like that, and you would push the piston back in. But by using that pry bar before, we just saved having to do this step, so we didn't have to do that. All right? Okay, so now we're going to take this, put it over like this, push these slide pins in a little bit, catch our bolts here and here. You want to make sure both of these are caught in there before you tighten either one of them up. You have to make sure it's loose. All right? And then after you get it caught, you screw them in as tight as you can by hand. And now you can tighten it up with the ratchet. Don't overdo it. You don't want to snap it. That's it. Now, if you're trying to tighten these, and this bolt is just rotating but not getting tighter, you get in here with a 17 or an 18 millimeter wrench, and you hold that slide pin, and it'll stop it from rotating. Okay? As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.